and we're stuck. Very often you ask us how to use a winch so it's safe and effective. So we're now in a position I will be able to show you. Remember, when you're stuck, especially on a hill, you always put on your handbrake, and when you have an automatic transmission, you gotta put it in park. When you're stuck, you gotta get out of the car and scan the terrain so you can find a good spot for an anchor point. In our case, this tree seems pretty rough and it should be enough to hold our vehicle. So we'll use this one as an anchor point. Generally, you have to analyze the whole terrain so you know where you're stuck and what are the obstacles you will have to go through. In our case, the biggest problem will be this route, especially when you have a non-modified vehicle like this one. You can, do some damage to the bumper. So just, take a look around and do it safe. The accessories kit comes in a compact bag which doesn't take a lot of space in the trunk, and it contains everything that you need to winch. So what's the minimum? Basics is a 1 tree strap, a pulley block, and 2 bow shackles. I always say that it's better to have some more stuff, so it's very good to have another tree strap, which can also be used as a rope extension, a rope dampener in case the rope breaks. You don't start your work when you don't have your gloves on. So what else do you have in the bag? You should have. It's not as an accessory kit, but it's needed to work. So the handheld remote, wireless remote, the key for the isolator switch, and obviously the instructions manual. So when you watch this movie, it doesn't mean you don't have to read it. You always have to read it. Moreover, you always have to have it with you in your car, because anything happens, the winch doesn't work, there are some tips what could happen. So remember, always have it in your accessory bag. In our Isuzu D-Max, we have a Kangaroo Winch K12000 Performance Series winch mounted hidden under the bumper. The rope aluminum half-set is hidden behind the registration plate. You just pop it up and then can use it. The clutch lever is hidden here, but it's very easy to access, so you can free spool the rope. And it's very important to free spool the rope without using the motor, because first of all you drain the battery, and the second you warm up the motor, so you can either lose the energy and then you have no energy to take your car out of the situation you're in, or you can warm up the motor, heat it up, and it will stop if you have the protection. If you don't have the protection, you can burn it out. So remember, you always use your hands instead of motor if you can do that. First of all, why do we use the tree strap? We use the tree strap so we don't harm the tree and we don't harm the rope. When you use the rope without a strap, you have to do it like that. Go around and hook it together. This way, the rope can break here. When you use the steel rope, you will definitely harm the tree. When you use a synthetic rope, she can break in any point around the tree. That's why you always have to use the tree strap. How do you use the tree strap? You just put it around the tree. This way. And when your rope is too short to get here, you can go through one of the loops like that. And depending on the length of the strap and the diameter of the tree, you'll gain, something that might be enough for you. You always remember, when you use a strap like that, its breaking strength is lower than when you use it as in a U system. So you always, at least with our straps, you have the instructions in here, and they're showing you when you use it as an extension. This one is 3 tons. When you use it in a U system, it's 6 tons, and when you put it through the loop, it's 2.4 tons. You may say, why don't you have a stronger strap? These are working load limits, and when you do it times 7, this is the breaking load. So the minimum breaking load of the strap is 21 tons. When you got your tree strap around the tree, you have to connect it with the rope. What's very important, you shouldn't do it directly, because in some certain situations the hook alone may jump up of the loop, which is very dangerous. So you always have to use a shackle. Screwing the shackle, you remember, when you go to the end, you do half turn back. After you put a load on the shackle, if you don't do that and you put load on the shackle, it might end up that you cannot unscrew it. And now, when you have it ready, you take the hook, when you have tree strap and the rope connected to the shackle, you can start winching in. Remember that you use free spool to pull out the rope, so now you have to disengage. That's why you turn the clutch lever and you pull the rope till you hear characteristic click. It means the mechanism is on. In our D-Max, the main power switch is under the hood. So you have to open the hood, get access to it. You just buy the socket of the wired remote. You may ask why it's here, not somewhere here. First of all, it looks better, the car looks better, and the second, unauthorized person will not be able to turn on your winch. I put the key into isolator switch and plug in the wired remote control. Why didn't I turn the key? Because you do it when you want to use the winch. So first I will start the engine, and then I will turn the key and start winching. And remember, you always start your engine before you start winching. If you don't do that, you might drain your battery, and then even if you get out of the place you are stuck, you won't be able to start the engine. So the engine has to be running always when you use your winch. Now I have to spool all the rope so it's tension before I start winching in. When the rope's tension, you have to check out the whole system for the last time. That's why you have to go to the tree strap and see if the strap, the shackle and the hook are connected properly, and the strap is as low as possible on a tree so you don't break it. Especially or mainly when you use a steel rope, you should have a rope dampener which you put on a rope somewhere in the middle Why? Because when the rope breaks, it can go any way, you don't know where, and it can injure you, some people around, or even kill someone. But when you use a dampener, the force is directed to the ground, so it hits the ground and doesn't go left or right. When you have a synthetic, actually you don't have to use it. When a synthetic rope breaks, she won't harm you. She's very safe. When you got everything connected and you have the manual transmission, you're obviously on the neutral because engine is running. But when you have a automatic, you have to put it on neutral, release the handbrake, and slowly let the car hang on the rope. The wire of the remote control is long enough so you can put it through the window inside the cabin, so you can sit inside and control what's going on, you know, turning the wheels left and right. You can always help the winch by using the engine. When you went over the obstacle, or you think so, you have to stop the vehicle and go see if everything is okay. To do that, you have to put to neutral, put the handbrake on and release the rope. Then you slowly take the leg of the brake and see if the car stands in place. It stands. It means I can go see if I'm already done and I can drive, and if so, I can put all the gear into the back and just drive. In our case, the winching was easy and the winch did it easily, but when you winch in and you hear and you see that the winch is not strong enough to pull your vehicle up the hill from the mud, then it's time to use a pulley block. Normally people say the pulley block doubles the winch power, but in the matter of fact it takes half of the load from the winch, and I will demonstrate it to you right now. To use a pulley block, you have to pull out twice as long rope as you need to reach the anchor point. What you see here is winching on a double rope with a pulley. Now half of the load of the vehicle is on this rope and the other half on this rope. This means that you can pull double the rated line pull of the winch. So when you have a 12,000 pounds winch like we have here, you can pull up to 24,000 pounds. There's a hand saver coming together with the winch. But what do you use it for? When you finish winching in and you want to spool the remaining rope on the drum, you shouldn't hold the rope like that, because obviously when it's steel rope, there can be some wires that can, you know, injure your hand. With a synthetic rope, they won't, but there may be some, you know, things in between the strands that can injure you. When you have gloves, they shouldn't injure you, but they can hook with your hand and it can, you know, pull your hand through the ferrule. So that's why you always spool the rope using this hand saver.